Hey, welcome in. Well, this ongoing saga of Dave Chappelle's The Closer, this is a story that has legs, and it has legs for a reason, because it matters. And whether or not you're allowed to hear the work of the world's most popular comedian matters. Whether or not you're allowed to hear thoughtful, nuanced art, that matters. And yeah, it's comedy, but it's also art. And art itself is under siege right now. YouTube and Instagram just banned the Let's Go Brandon song that hit #1 on iTunes. So when people like myself talk about creeping authoritarianism, this is the kind of thing that happens. Comedy routines, songs that you like, they're in the crosshairs. And when comedy and music are under siege, so is every independent and interesting thought in your own head. Here's the headline. I am not bending to anyone's demands, Dave Chappelle declares. So, as of the making of this video, The Closer is still on Netflix. But as I'm sure you're aware, there's a handful of activists and self-declared spokespeople for the quote-unquote trans community, and there are Netflix employees that are really angry that they can't decide what you're allowed to see or laugh at. And the amazing thing to me is that nobody seems to ever ask, well, who exactly are these people? Who are these people speaking for this community? Because it's not like there was a vote. It's not like the trans community had a vote and elected these people. There's no trans union. There's no, president of trans, and they send out their press secretary. You just have people who say, I'm the spokesperson. I speak for the entire community. And maybe the question that needs to be asked is, well, who the hell are you to say you speak for everybody? But anyway, Chappelle addressed this controversy at Netflix by posting a 5-minute video on Instagram in which he responded to the backlash and dropped a few more jokes. And if you want to watch it yourself, you can go to the link in the description of this video. Anyway, Chappelle declared he won't be bending to anyone's demands. Good. Quote, to the transgender community, I am more than willing to give you an audience, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anyone's demands. Quote, it's been said in the press that I was invited to speak to the transgender employees of Netflix, and I refused. That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it. Although I'm confused about what we would be speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want a safe working environment at Netflix. Seems like I'm the only one who can't go to the office anymore. And these are the little ironies that don't get picked up by the mainstream media. And here's the unspoken part that everybody already knows. They don't want a conversation. They want you to bend the knee. They want you to acquiesce. They want you to surrender. And it doesn't matter how ludicrous it is to state that you don't feel safe at Netflix because of a comedy special. Anyways, continue, quote, and if you want to meet with me, I am more than willing to, but I have some conditions. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end. And how many of the people out protesting, and it's not actually a lot of people, but how many of them actually did watch the special? The modern leftist movement does seem to take a kind of perverse pride in not exposing themselves to what they're criticizing. And they have all the excuses built in. Well, it would trigger me. It's dangerous. It causes harm. The kinds of excuses you would expect from somebody who doesn't want to take any personal responsibility and just wants to be protected by an authoritarian. But anyway, let's continue. You must come to a place of my choosing at a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny. And Hannah Gadsby is a comedian who is considered like an anti-comedian. And as far as I can tell, that is true in the most literal sense of the word. But anyway, Chappelle continued, the media frames it that it's me versus that community. That is not what it is. Do not blame LGBTQ community for any of this shit. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say. For the record, and I need you to know this, everyone I know from that community has been loving and supporting. So I don't know what all of this is about. This comes back to what I was saying earlier. The left has a need to pretend that there's these groups are monolithic, or these communities are monolithic. Of course they're not. They're people. They're not ants, right? They're people. And you're not going to have any identity group that agrees on everything, because that's impossible. But anyway, and another thing he talks about in this clip is that he's got a documentary that was made about those outdoor shows he did in 2020. And now that documentary is getting canceled. I mean, The Closer's still on Netflix for now. Quote, "This film that I made was invited to every film festival in the United States, and some of those invitations I accepted. When this controversy came out about The Closer, they began disinviting me from these film festivals. And now, today, not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film. Thank God for Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos and Netflix. He's the only one that didn't cancel me yet." And he said he's going to release the film in 10 American cities so you can judge for yourself. Quote, "But you cannot have this conversation and exclude my voice from it. That is only fair. You have to answer the question, am I canceled or not?" Well, I mean, look, Dave Chappelle, anything he does is going to make money. And he says that not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film. That should be concerning. And if Chappelle is in this situation, think about the guy who's not Chappelle. Think about the guy who's still trying to work his way up, still trying to build an audience. Chappelle may not get canceled, but what does it matter if nobody else can become Chappelle? Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the podcast Radio Baloney. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.